Why Are We Yelling podcast. I am your host and resident man without a plan, Matthew Evans, and I'm happy to have you guys along for the ride with me today. If you'd come up to me 3 or 4 weeks ago, just asked, Matthew, March 27th, Friday night, what you going to be up to? I would have answered probably like any one of you guys would have answered. Hanging out with friends, going out to eat, going to see a movie, ping pong. I might have personally been working a baseball game, but just normal everyday college life stuff. I would not have told you I'll be in my dad's office working on a podcast under government quarantine. None of you guys would have said something like that, but yet here we are, going through the same thing together. And this pandemic truly has been awful. Nothing good has come out of it. If there's one thing that has a slightly positive connotation, it's that this quarantine has given me copious amounts of free time. And in that copious amount of free time, I have discovered that I need to pick up a new hobby or I'm going to lose my mind. And so that's what I've been up to the last couple of days. I'm just trying to figure out a new hobby that's going to keep my mind fresh. And I had a couple ideas going through my head. One, I could write and record some new music. Love music, love playing music, love listening to music. Don't really have the equipment to make that happen, so that was off the table. I could teach myself how to play piano again. And that's actually a good idea and something I could still probably do, but in the moment it wasn't something I was super interested in. I could write a book. I have a couple good story ideas floating around in my head, and I figured that would be fun. But it can get a little lonely sometimes, and you kind of get stuck in your own head, so I decided maybe not the best idea with everything going on. Well, what about a podcast? And I'm sure this is where you all jump up and say, but Matthew, everyone and their mother and their grandmother has done a podcast. What new could you bring to the table? And I would say, you're right. Everyone has done a podcast. There are millions of podcasts out there. At this point, it would be a drop in the ocean. But there is something I'm passionate about, something I want to talk about, and something I'm going through right now, as many of you also are. And that is young adulthood. What is young adulthood? Let's just come up with a working definition. Put it simply, it's a 5 to 7 year in-between period with school on one side, the rest of your life on the other, and in this 5 to 7 year period, you have to try to figure out how the two of them connect in as seamless a way as you possibly can. Yeah, sounds like a lot right off the bat. On top of that, how are we portrayed to most people in the media? Well, I think to find the most prevalent way that we are portrayed, you'd have to go to YouTube. Look at the myriad of vloggers on YouTube. Guys and gals in their 20s. Beautiful houses, beautiful apartments, just messing around, doing absolutely nothing but having copious amounts of cash. And that's just not the truth. That's just not representative of the 99% of us. And so it was because of all these things, I decided that I wanted to make the Why Are We Yelling podcast. It is a podcast for young adults, about young adults, by young adults. I mean, it's an insane time, the time we're going through right now. And I think the name of this podcast really nails it down pretty well. Why are we yelling? Why is everything so stressful? Can we just pause for a second and take a deep breath? And the answer is no, you can't. You have been given a timeline by society. You have 5 to 7 years to figure this thing out. And there's so much that goes into that. For a lot of us listening, I'm sure we just graduated last year. It was our first year of college, which is hard enough without a global pandemic going on around us and sending us home a quarter early. And what all goes into college? Number one, you have your education, the most important thing probably. You have to keep up your GPA. You got to keep up your grades just so you can get back the next year. But you can't all focus on your GPA and your grades. You got to have a social life. People think you're weird. So you got to find friends. You got to find friends. You got to maintain a friend group and all the ebbs and flows that go with that. And I'm sure after a while, you're going to start finding people you're interested in romantically. So you got to figure that out as well, along with your friend group and your grades and classes. And how are you going to pay for this whole wonderful experience? You're going to have to take out student loans like so many people are. Did you find a job that'll get you through? Do you like your job? Is it a fun job? Is it a job in the field you're even going to major in or something you want to do for the rest of your life? And when college finally does end, it's just the beginning. Because then the real decisions really come out, right? You got to find someone to marry. If it's not the person you're with, you got to ditch them and find someone else. Got to figure out that whole marriage thing, everything that goes into that. Got to find a place to live. And then you got to start a family. And then boom, you're on the rest of your life. 5 years. Go. It's a lot. Even just sitting here in this office and thinking about it. And I can't imagine what it's like for the people who have to go at it alone. So that is the point of this podcast. It is a place where the young adults can come together and feel a sense of community and to get advice about the life that we're going through. And that's not at all to discount the mentors I'm sure we all have. They're wonderful people, and their experiences, really, their advice and their experiences have me where I am today. But there's something about being in a community of people who are going through what you are going through simultaneously. And that's what this is. Every week, we're going to discuss something new, a new topic. Could be what we talked about: finance, school, relationships, family, jobs. It could be something else, whatever we're struggling with. And it's also a place for you to come and give feedback, ask questions, give opinions, talk about stuff. We can tell funny stories, because no one really escapes unscathed from this area of life without a couple funny stories to tell, if we're being honest. But a place where we can come, be together, to learn and to grow and to thrive. We can't do it by ourselves, so we might as well do it together. In the bottom of this video, in the description, I'll be dropping my social media, and just honestly, just send me a text. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to hear? I'm excited to jump into this with you guys. I hope I can be a blessing to you, and I know you'll be a blessing to me. So until next time, when we can talk again, stay safe and be well.